Hey everyone, Dodge here at Team Chaos MTG. I had a pretty big work day today, and I thought that I would just throw something together and kind of walk y'all through what a normal day here is like. So what you're looking at right in front of you is a collection that I purchased at my local game store yesterday. And it is pretty sweet. I got this for $3.75. Let's take a look at things a little bit closer here. So in the back, those are all piles of rares and uncommons to go through. In front here, we have some lands in a pile, all sorts of good stuff there. Foil lands, those there in the middle, this is all a stack of From the Vault foils. Foil rares and promos, big stack of Planeswalkers, just a whole bunch of these guys. Some foil Planeswalkers, a stack of wastes, a stack of unstable lands, snow-covered mountains and plains, one lonely unland. Bunch of, I thought I'd put these all aside because they're a little beat up, but they sell decently in sets. All of the artifact lands, some promo tokens and unstable tokens, a Karn, and a couple of old school cards. We've got a revised Meekstone and a beat up Dust to Dust. Some big walkers and masterpieces, as well as a few cool foil unstable cards. We've got Urza, not foil. We've got a couple of the mythic conspiracies, or not conspiracies, what are those called? Contraptions. Contraptions, Over My Dead Bodies in foil. I don't know if those are worth more than a couple of bucks, but they look cool. A couple of Lotus Petals. I'll have to show you guys what happens with all of those later. And some counter spells that were signed by the manager of my LGS. So not anything other than sentimental value there. But that's pickup number one for yesterday. Number two, we have three, and these have been sorted. We've got three holiday gift boxes full of bulk, just filled with bulk. 6 piles of bulk and a fat pack worth of rares, promos, miscellaneous things. And that was pickup number two. There was also a paper airplanes kit. That's kind of cool. We'll do that for the channel. And then small trade. Nothing super exciting. Foil Unclaimed Territory, Disallow, which is still $7 somehow. Scarab God, Nexus of Fate, couple of collected companies. Yeah, and then just some small stuff. Oh, and a foil Temple Garden. That's right. So that's this is today, and or I guess yesterday now. But yeah, so we'll see you guys back in a minute as we actually go through all of this. Okay, so it's been maybe about an hour's worth of work since I cut away. And what you see here is all of the rares and mythics and promos from the pickups from earlier. Foils in the front, everything else all stacked up nice and neat-ish. And all of these over the next probably 2 or 3 hours of my life are going to get super sorted. And the way that I do that, the system I use works fairly well. everything gets broken down by WUBRG, so white, blue, black, red, green, just like it is on the back of a Magic card. And then multicolor stuff, artifact stuff, land stuff, just like collector's numbers go. And then all of this gets alphabetized. Making piles of just the first letter in the card name and then breaking those piles down afterward works wonders for me. It just goes very, very quickly. Oh, hey, look. That's a foil Cathartic Reunion. We're hanging on to that. That'll go with the upgrades pile, which we will talk about shortly. Okay, so this is all of the multicolored stuff from the 2 collections that we picked up. And it is just alphabetized by first letter. No further than that. These are all of the WUBRG cards, also alphabetized by the first letter, stacked up, done. We still need to do this for artifacts and lands, but this is my system. We had about 3,000 cards to sort. Doing it this way takes, I don't know, these will all, every single one of these cards, even the trash, is going to be sorted, alphabetized, hard alphabetized, done, maybe 3-4 hours. It doesn't take, probably not even that long, to be honest. So that's how we do that. And God, it's a lot of cards. And then over here, there's all the artifacts and lands to do, but it goes super quick this way. I don't know how other vendors and online retailers sort their stuff, but this is what we do here. Alright, so here are more pickups for today. Again, this was a trade, just small stuff. I honestly don't remember what all we traded for this. I think it was like a foil Godless Shrine and a couple of Darkslick Shores, whatever, nothing super important, but we've got some promo basics, stuff like this, foil Seagate Oracles, foil Take Inventories, Forbidden Alchemy, whatever. These things move. Pauper players are very quick to find a bunch of cards in one place and just spend $25-50 building a deck. We've got some reserved list stuff here, Feldergriff, Ragnar, nothing super exciting, some promo Monk tokens. Out of everything here, even though most of these cards are super cheap, the things that won't sell are a Dingus Egg. Dingus Egg isn't going to move. Dingus Egg will still be in the inventory 6 months, a year, 2 years from now. Everything else, these things are gonna find homes. Probably permanent ones, probably pretty quickly. You know, there's a lot of places that don't like to deal with cheap cards, like nobody's clamoring to buy a bunch of Pyxis of Pandemonium or Altar of the Brood, and they shouldn't be. You know, the stuff like this, it's not worth just buying out individually, but what it is worth doing is when collections come up with a bunch of these things in them, not to sort them back into bulk. Put them in inventory and wait, because it's not hurting you to spend the extra 2 seconds to put these things into your inventory. And, you know, pauper players exist. Alright, so it is officially day 3. Probably 10 hours of work on 2 collections. This is the trade binder, which does keep things listed online, but is also just good for bringing to local tournaments, GPs, whatever. These binders, we've got blue, black, and white, all alphabetized, sorted, ready to be listed online. And there are 8 of these binders, which are solely for keeping inventory on Magic cards. There's a few other things we'll go over in just a minute, but thought I would take a break in the process and show y'all these. Okay, so these are the things from these two collections we picked up that I am keeping for myself. If you watch some of the other videos, the streaming stuff, the set review stuff, whatever else, you will know that the background is full of deck boxes. All of these deck boxes. How many deck boxes are there? Too many deck boxes. There's deck boxes down there. There's one behind a Ninja Turtle. They're all over the damn place. And almost all of them are finished, and all of them are in the process of being foiled or promoed out, because it's a fun little adventure to, you know, move cardstock by collections, and end up with cool things. So that's what we do here. Now, whenever these go into decks, if they're replacing something else, that's going to come out. It's going to get sorted with everything else. Like this foil Botanical Sanctum, that's a pre-release promo. It's got the stamp there. I don't like the stamps. So that's coming out of a deck. It already got replaced with a regular foil Botanical Sanctum. And yeah, that's how we do that. It's also a great way to just kind of keep myself busy. It also is a good chance to just keep new inventory rolling into the store. You know, if I'm at a shop and they have one or two things I need, I might pick them up. Like this Engineered Plague, this foil from Urza's block. That I actually paid for outside of just it being in a collection that I was picking up. And that will go right into a legacy deck. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing, since we're just walking through my entire process here. That is part of it. Okay, so inventory is done. It is all sorted, sleeved up, bindered, ready to be sold on the interweb. But what happens to the rest of the cards that were in those collections we picked up? Well, they go in binders too. Here's a binder for tokens and miscellaneous cards. It is not for sale, as the labels would tell you. Look at that! Ah, it's a bunch of EVs. That's cool as shit, right? Some more Pokemon, and a artist-proof Burning Wish, because that had to go somewhere. Force of Will and My Little Pony, because those make good tokens. Some Karibo. Yeah, Karibo. Bunch of Pegasi. And then just a bunch of tokens. Can never have too many tokens. Sometimes they sell $1, $1.50 for the unstable ones. They make better trade fodder, I think, than anything else. Silver bordered cards go in their own special binder with all the other silver bordered cards. These I love. I take a couple of sets to any legacy events I go to, just because I think they're fun, and people that play Paper Legacy typically care a little bit more about fun than they do doing things as by normal heuristics, such as rolling die. Oh, you can hear in the background my dog saw another dog walk by. Yeah, that's a thing that happens. Here's a bunch of these unstable cards. Love these sets of contraptions all put together to make a whole picture. So the unstable stuff, I'm working on trying to finish 2 full sets for cubing and drafting and having. It's proving to be more difficult than I thought it would be, with how many different versions of things like Garbage Elemental there are. So that's a neat little project for finishing up. You know, probably never. Oh, there it is. Basic lands, y'all. The most basic. I love collecting basic lands. They go in just about everything. And while I am pretty spiky by nature, I do love lore. I love the stories, short stories that get published, graphic novels or comic books, whatever they're working on now. I think they have the new Chandra series out. The Dak Faden comics by IDW. Just so much good stuff, and the basic lands that I use for my decks are kind of just my way of letting my Vorthos side come through. So there's one of those forests that we picked up in another collection. Oh, great googly moogly. They just keep going. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. We've got draft sets for Zendikar lands, more cubing stuff. Yeah. But that's where all those unstable and promo lands from those collections ended up. Again, this is stuff I typically don't sell, especially when it comes to the Euro and APAC lands. They make exceptional trade fodder, so I like to hang on to those where I can. Alright, on to the big stuff. Reserved list cards, not for sale. Because why would we want to sell things? No, we just sit on them. We sell them occasionally. Sold a Candelabra recently. Lots of good stuff in here. Sold a couple of these recently. There's that Ragnar we picked up. You'll notice this divider coming up ends at 1994. Oh, this will be fun. Fucking black carriage. Look at all these black carriages. This is a reserved list card. I think I spent... How many do we have? We have... There's a couple down there, 3 of them down there. There's just so many of these things. I think I spent like 20 or 30 bucks on them. Kind of to prove a point that, you know, just because something is reserved list doesn't mean that it carries any real value. Love this older style artwork. I know you guys can't see it super clearly here, but these are... You know, these are things that move occasionally. I really try not to sell out of here too often, but if something comes along that is more important than cardstock, then we do that. And this Tundra should not be on that front page. It needs to be back here with the other revised cards, because this Brain Geyser is the only unlimited card in the binder right now. I actually did sell a bunch of unlimited cards because the market on those is so good right now, and we don't pay full price for cards over here. Now this is our non-reserved list 93, 94 stuff, and it is just everything that is old school playable. You know, this isn't really investment stuff. This is more, I would like to play old school. My mono black deck is almost done. Just need to get a couple of things for it, couple of pieces of power, and yeah, I try not to do a lot of buying online. I feel like if I go fill up a shopping cart full of cards on TCG Player or Channel Fireball, I'm just going to have a giant shopping cart and spend way too much money. So, when it comes to the things that I play with, I just, you know, like the handful of cards that we pulled out of these collections for upgrading that y'all saw, that's how we do it. Or I'll trade for things, but, you know, if I wanted to just spend a bunch of money to finish a bunch of decks that I'm honestly not going to play very often, well, that just sounds kind of dumb. Now, I'm sure nobody is asking at this point, where did those Lotus pedals go? Well, this is my pet project. This is just a binder full of Lotus pedals. That's it. That's all this is. They just keep going. I've been collecting these for 3 or 4 years now. Some of these pages that aren't finished, it is because those pedals are foreign or different printings for the From the Vault and Masterpiece editions. This page is all signed pedals. Yeah, it just keeps going. Again, not something that I'm gonna just go spend a few $1,000s to fill up and finish to, you know, stroke my own ego. But it's a fun side project. I enjoy it. Here we go. This one, somebody decided that this needed to be, I don't know if you can really see what's written on there. It needed to be a proxy for the rack. So they ground into it with a ballpoint pen. And then they scratched that out with a Sharpie and made it a Mox. Don't know which one, not sure it matters, but that is the start of the page of damaged and altered Lotus pedals. So there you have it. Yeah, that's pretty much my process. That's how I get cards for my own decks. That's how I sort things away. That's how things get sold. And, you know, I'm not Rudy. I'm not making acquiring things my full-time job. And certainly selling cards is not the only way that I'm paying my bills, but as a Magic player, as someone who loves the game deeply for so many reasons, you know, I have found that this model works for me. And, yeah, I don't know how many other people it works for, but if you wanted any insight, there it is.